Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell. Welcome to Moscow, and welcome to a new video. Now today I've got something kind of interesting for you. Kind of fits right in with the channel, and the building where we're going to go is right behind me. We're going to go check out if I can buy a Harley-Davidson in Moscow in 2023 right now. It does look a little bit dark right now. It's only 5 p.m. and it's actually starting to snow as well. Now this area where I am here has a lot of car dealerships, particularly off in the distance this way. You can see Smart, Mercedes, Toyota, Lexus. I walked past quite a few. This particular building has only motorbikes. Actually, it's got a few different dealerships in the same building. It's a shopping center for motorbikes. There is actually other dealerships nearby. There's actually JCB over here. And then Gaz is a well-known truck company here in Russia. I haven't looked at what this building is, but this is another one that's got vehicles for sale. And what we want to go see is motorbikes. And the particular one we want to go to here is called HotMot. And this is the largest motorbike dealer in Moscow and in all of Russia. And once we get inside, you'll understand there's a few other brands of motorbike shops here as well, and a lot of accessories and things like helmets and leathers. So let's go and have a look for some motorbikes. You know it's a big place when there's actually a cafe in the bike dealership. So there's a little place here you can relax in between having a look at all the bikes. Check this out, there's even a ski-doo. Fairly sure that's what they call them, where they've got the sleds right on the front there. I might need that to get home in a few hours if the snow keeps falling. Where we actually want to go is up on the second level, which in reality is the first level. The reason I'm actually doing this video, apart from the fact we get to see some motorbikes on the channel, is I had a request, or I've actually had a lot of requests from subscribers to come and check out more motor vehicles, any kind of dealerships. And I thought I'd come and check out this motorbike one, because someone actually asked me about Harley-Davidsons and can you buy them in Russia? And you're going to see a lot of bikes in a second, so just bear with me to get my bearings and we'll have a walk around and have a look at some bikes. Getting off the escalator and coming up to this floor here, it's really quite overwhelming how many motorbikes there are and how big this building actually is. When you come on inside, from outside you're thinking, oh, it's quite small and there's not too many bikes here. But this is the largest bike dealership in Moscow and in Russia. Now, I can't confirm or deny it's the largest one in Russia, but I think just walking around here and seeing the amount of bikes that are on the showroom floor, there is a lot to see and look at. I don't think we'll get to see every single bike in the video, but I'll do my best to cover as many as possible. There is also another area where they've got accessories and things like clothes and helmets again. You might walk in there first, just have a look at that, and we'll come out and look at the bikes. So just a couple of things that's quite important if you're watching this video, and I think maybe a lot of people know already. I'm not a car guy, I'm not a bike guy. My knowledge of motorbikes is very, very, very slim. So please bear with me. I'm going to just show you what I see, talk about it, and maybe point out a few prices. And just, I want you to be overwhelmed by how many bikes we're going to see in the video and just be impressed with what's possible and what's available here in Russia right now. I do have a question for anyone who is into motorbikes, and particularly the people who have mentioned to me about making a video at a bike dealership specifically. Please let me know if some of the things you're seeing are models or brands that you know. I'm not really into the brands of motorbike gear and accessories. I'm pretty sure this is the place to come to if you want the exact product or item. There's even some Harleys right here. I was hoping to walk around and come across them, but there's a few different ones parked up. There's a BMW right here, 1250. I know anything over 1000 cc is a big bike. Now, looking around a bit more, there's also lots of clothing, the riding jackets, and accessories. Beyond accessories, I'm fairly sure, you know, this is, of course, the largest store in Russia. Now, please let me know where you live. If you've been to a motorbike shop, does it have this kind of assortment and choices of products? Because this is, for me, very overwhelming just to see this many things and the brands. And keep in mind as well, you know, the times that we're living in right now, where a year and a half or 2 years in to a lot of events that have closed down or shut down a lot of the retail in Russia, and where a lot of brands have left Russia, if that's the right word. And I think walking in here, there is little or no effect on the different products and companies and availability of goods. There's another Harley right here. This is pretty impressive. Riding gloves, an entire aisle of them. Being that it's Thursday afternoon in the middle of the week, there's not that many people here, and normally a lot of people go looking for cars, bikes, I'm not sure, trucks on the weekend, like Saturday and Sunday, and any midweek day, and especially during the working hours, you're not going to see many people in the background of the video. That's absolutely not my intention of this video, to show that there's no one here shopping. People come to buy bikes. People buy them, take them home, ride them, and oh my gosh, the amount of bikes in here, it's very cool. Looking around, I'm fairly sure that everything in here is brand new, and maybe different ages of bikes, and you know, maybe this year, last year, or previous years. I'm just noticing on all of the signs there is the year of the bike's construction, so possibly also there's some trade-ins and some people who have a bike and then want to get another bike, and they end up here for resale. I really do hope me walking around and showing all of these models, I'm doing them justice, and hopefully you can spot some of the different ones that are here and available. It's quite a lot to choose from. 2023 BMW F850 GS. Now, not everybody's gonna watch this and perhaps enjoy it as a video, but I really wanted to show the amount of bikes and the amount of choices of bikes, because there's a lot. There's almost some sort of beauty to the lighting in here and the color of the bikes. And then outside, how dark it is. There's a very busy highway right across the street with a lot of traffic on it. And coming in here, it's so quiet. You will actually hear from time to time somebody starting up the bikes. I think that maybe the people that work here that are going through the different models, maybe it's actually a buyer who wants to listen to the bike start up. So hopefully it's not too loud from time to time. There is Ducati here and BMW. There's a lot of those right where I'm walking on this side of the room. Now I do watch occasionally MotoGP, so I know Ducati is a brand of bike, and I have to be careful as I'm walking here. Have you ever seen those clips where the bikes fall over and then all of them fall over in a domino effect? It does look like they're grouped by brand. On this left-hand side is Honda and Kawasaki. So that's Ducati Scrambler. So they are a little bit mixed. Perhaps they're by types of bike as I'm looking at them. There is a lot of Ducatis here. And then I just noticed over on the back over there, there's some Triumph motorbikes. There's one there with the British flag on it, which is a pretty neat livery to see. Ducati Monster 821. If you are wanting to figure out the exchange rate, now roughly it's about 100 rubles to $1 or €1. And now give or take, it's going up and down. It's a few rubles under 100 right now. So as you look at the pricing, if you're keen or interested in the different prices, every time I'm going to look, they've got the signs tipped sideways. There's Hondas here. This is a KTM now. Somebody told me that these are Australian bikes. This is a pretty big piece of machinery. I've never ridden a motorbike like this before. I've ridden a scooter when I've been to Bali, but never a motorbike. There's so many. Now, the reason I've got a bit of a smile on my face is I was told about this place before I came here, and they quite specifically said, Russell, you have to come to this place and you've got to highlight and show the amount of choices of bikes here. And I found out where it was, and here I am. There's a KTM 890 Adventure in front of me. It's a little bit harder to see with the other bikes around it. This is the 2022 model. This is 1.457 million rubles. So let's call that 14,600 US dollars. It's up to you if you want to exchange it to other currencies. Just put the ruble amount in to whatever currency you live under. I'm using US dollars because it's a lot easier in my head to exchange it, and it's a fairly universal currency that a lot of people use and judge pricing off. There's a row of Suzuki bikes here. Lots of Suzukis. You can see that very well-known logo. I'm used to seeing it on cars more than I would be on bikes. Wow. Just the amount of bikes is just amazing. There's a Triumph here that's a little bit older. This is a 2013 Tiger 800. 700,000 rubles. So about $7,000. I'm again just using that 100 to 1 exchange. It works out a lot easier than using, you know, the specific daily rate. It isn't changing a lot at the moment. There's a Moto Morini 2022 model. $9,000 or 900,000 rubles. It's a pretty neat looking bike. I like that cream finish on it. Has anybody heard of a Moto Morini before? Of course, the one thing that we want to look for is Harley-Davidsons. Well, that's what I've been asked to look for. And I'm just showing a lot of the other models as well. I hope just generally it's an interesting video to see so many types of bikes. There's a touring bike here with a lot of stickers on it. I wonder if somebody did a long trip across Russia at some point and then perhaps traded it in. They have this very bright wall here, and I'm fairly sure this is where they take photos of the bikes for their online website. It's a pretty neat bike though, with the gold accents on it. It's a nice spot to take photos, particularly while it's dark outside. There's plenty of lighting in here, but for photos, you want to get the best possible look. These touring bikes are pretty impressive. 1250cc. This is a BMW 1200 RS. That one's $8,000. Lots of stickers on this. I wonder how far it might have gone across Europe, perhaps. There's another endurance bike here as well. So perhaps people trade them in and go up to other models, or they trade down. Do motorbike riders ever trade down their bikes? I think not. I think really riders want the biggest model possible. I almost think this video might run even longer than most of my normal videos. There's some Hondas, 2022 models, 2020. There's a 2023 Honda CBR 650R. This one is $15,000. Now, you need to tell me, perhaps with the pricing that I'm quoting, is it high or low compared to where you live? I'm not really sure about how people price motorbikes. There's more 2023 models here. Perhaps they come in different colors. Have a look down this aisle. Suzuki and Honda galore. There is a lot of them. Wow. So there is some older models again. 2011 Honda VFR 1200. So that's $8,000. Now, I am quoting the US dollar price over and over. This is something that's just easier for the video rather than quoting 11 different countries' prices. I'm sorry if I don't do that for where you might live. Have a look at some of these off-road bikes. Do you call them dirt bikes where you live? That's what I call them for Australian use. There's a new Honda there, CRF 300L, and it's on special, $7,500. I really wonder when somebody comes here to look for a motorbike, how their head is when they walk out. Perhaps they have a certain model in mind, a certain size of bike, a certain color. I don't think you'd even need to go anywhere else in Moscow to buy a bike once you've walked in this place. Please excuse me if I'm only picking out a few bikes to show the prices of. I like the color of this one, the blue Yamaha XSR 700. This is a 2020 model, $9,000. It's amazing how big this place is, and I keep repeating it. And walking around, you know, would you even get to see all the bikes just walking up and down all the lanes? I think you probably wouldn't actually get to see them all, even just coming for a short period of time in here. There's some nice bikes. I'm going to say it a few times, or at least once more. I've never ridden a motorbike. I really don't have any intentions to. I personally think they're a little bit dangerous. You know, I'm making a video about them, and then I'm not a big fan of motorbikes. They're very impressive, you know, to hear them start and ride and accelerate. But I'm much happier in a four-wheeled vehicle that I can close the doors and know that I feel just that bit safer. Plenty of Yamahas as I'm walking around. A lot of them with the extra kit on them as well. So again, quite a few different traded in models, or what we would call in Australia late model bikes. This looks like Kawasaki Lane. Right as I'm walking down it, this bright green color just stands out and really pops when you look at it. And then Over here, Kawasaki ER41 Ninja 2015, $4,500 if you'd like a Ninja. Fairly sure I've heard that name before, even not knowing about motorbikes. I think it's part of the models of Kawasaki bikes. So there is 2023 models dotted in here, but a lot of 2022 models, because depending on how they get them and how they're shipped into Russia. Kawasaki Z400. This one is $7,000 as well. Nice bike. Do you have a color preference? Let me know in the comments if you perhaps ride a bike or not, or maybe you did in the past. My dad always tells me the story when he was my age, and he always says it as though I'm 20 years old. I'm now over 40, and he rode motorbikes when he was younger, and I don't think he's been on one in a lot of years, but he still likes to talk about them a lot. I'm really curious how they do set their bikes out here in the dealership. There is, of course, a lot of brands that are bundled together. Lots of Yamahas here. And over on this side, the BMWs. They remind me a little bit of the police bikes, these BMWs. I wonder where you live. Maybe you know what model they're riding. Now, I'm walking down this aisle to the end, because I noticed that there's some scooters here and some pretty neat looking models. Let's have a look. There's a Honda here, 2023, a Honda Click. This is for $4,000. This is one of the scooter type bikes. And then they've also got Vespa. Have a look at these. These are neat. These remind me of Italy so much. The Vespas. A little bit dark in this corner, but it's okay. These are all brand new 2023 models. And depending on which one, this is the Vespa Sprint. This one is $6,900. I like these. They just remind me of Rome, Italy, and somebody just riding around casually, you know, versus these bigger models. Just have a look at how many bikes there are. Now, I'm completely impressed. You can hear it in my voice, I think, and I'm glad I came. I really am. Even the fact that it's quite a long way from my house to get home, I really wanted to come here because I was told that I've got to come to this particular dealership and check it out. And I'm so happy I made the trip over here. I'm a little bit further in the back here. I'm not too sure if I'm meant to be in this room with all the bikes. There is one of the staff members doing a little bit of motorbike Jenga and trying to figure out reversing one in and reversing one out. But there's a pretty neat model here. Now, all the ones in this room don't have price tags on them, so I wonder if they're not for sale. But check this thing out. A Gold Wing. This is pretty cool. It's got the antenna on it. Reminds me of Chips. Anybody watch that show back in the 80s? Have a look. This is an older model of bike too. It's got a little JVC head unit there. I wonder if that's a radio perhaps. That's a pretty cool bike. This is another brand that I've seen in the past, and this is an Indian motorbike. I think that's a brand name of motorbike if I'm not mistaken. And there is actually a price on this one. And this is maybe one of the most expensive ones I've seen so far. It's a little bit hard to see there. This is called an Indian Challenger. And this is just about $38,000. This is a very cool bike in black and chrome. Have a look at the dials right here. No idea what they do, but if you want a pretty neat bike, $38,000 for an Indian Challenger. They actually have a workshop back here behind this curtain. It's one of the only places I've seen where you can't walk in there, so I'll respect the store for that. Have a look at these BMWs. These are pretty neat. And there is quite a few in the back where I've just walked through that don't have prices on them. This is a big Honda. This is a GL 1800. Have a look at the padded backrest on that. That's pretty neat. $18,000 just about. 1.8 million rubles. And I think we're slowly coming towards the Harley-Davidsons. I see one right in front of me here. That might actually be a sold sign. But this blue color is pretty neat. Not sure what that says. That's a pretty nice Harley right off the bat. There's a very nice all black Honda. Now I am showing a lot of bikes, of course, and I'm just trying to show a bit of an overview. This is a 2022 model, CMX 1100 Rebel, and it's marked down even, $15,300. That's a nice color of black as well. I really do hope you're enjoying this video. It's a little bit different from a supermarket walk around or a shopping center, and this is quite unique, you know, even for me to come and look at something like this that I'm not really into. It's not somewhere where I'd come and just have a wander and do some window shopping. I don't have an intention to buy a bike, but I hope you're enjoying it as a video on the channel. As one of the bikes gets started up in the background, there's a customer looking at them like one aisle away from here. I was thinking that these were all Harleys here with the chrome on them, but a lot of these are different Yamahas, Hondas, kind of mixed together. And they're pretty cool bikes at the same time. A little bit older models. There's a 2010 XVS 1100 here. Just about $5,500. I'm going to say it again, I'm not sure if these are great prices. I'm sure they are to bike lovers and bike fans. Perhaps to the next person, you know, it's just a number. And these Hondas with all the chrome on, 2003 model VTX 1300. Yeah, there's some a little bit older models. I think what happens is a lot of them get traded in, then they've got workshops where they do the re-fixing of them. What would you call it? Perhaps they prepare them for resale after they've took them as a trade-in. More Hondas here. 2008 VT750 C2 Shadow. This one is $6,000. Pretty nice bike. It's got the lower glass shield. Not sure what that does to protect you. And then it's a 2010 VT750 C2 Shadow. They've got a lot of letters in the names. This one is $9,000. And yeah, I think there's a little bit of a brand competition amongst riders with different bikes from different countries where they're produced. I think even if you watch motorbike racing on television, there's a lot of competition amongst the manufacturers. This one right here has got a luxury box on it. How much luxury can you get with the box on the back of the bike? Have a look at the aisle of them here and all the seats all the way down. Wow. I think I've teased you enough, and literally on the right hand side as I came up the escalator, all the Harleys are right here, and there is about 4 aisles of them all up, and there's lots of different models. A dyno, a lowrider 2005 for $7,000. It's a pretty nice bike for a 2005 edition. And now I think again that a lot of these are reconditioned. I remembered what the word is for these models. Actually, there's Triumph here. This is a Triumph Bonneville. I think that's where they do the speed test, don't they? This is a T120. This one's $13,000. Very nice bike. A Bonneville. Tell me, has somebody heard of a Bonneville? I really need to know if I'm, saying all the right things. Here we go. Harley-Davidson Nightster. A Nightster, sorry. I'm not stuttering. 2022 models. This one is $16,000. It's got a bit of a grey colour to it. Oh, you can see how new it is. It's still got the stickers on some of the pipes. They've even got the keys right in the engine right there. Now, I just noticed, and I wonder if it's just a part here, Harley-Davidson Nightster, made in Thailand. Harley-Davidson's made in Thailand. Let me know if that's correct. Perhaps they've got factories in different places. There's a Harley-Davidson Fat Bob. This one is $20,000. Just about 2 million rubles. That gold exhaust is pretty neat. It's very interesting, the names of some of the Harley bikes, where they've got a bit of a kind of a remembering name. Lots of Fat Bobs, different ages here. I wonder who he was. Perhaps he worked at the dealership or at the factory at some point. That's interesting. On this side is all Triumphs. Let's see if we can find more Harleys. There's a Sportster right here, 2008. There's a bit of a mix of ages of bikes, but the condition they're in is phenomenal. They obviously keep them well here. Sportster 883 for $6,000. Now, unless I've got my numbers in my head completely wrong, this is the price of the bikes. But again, 100 rubles to $1. You just move the decimal place as you're looking at the signs, and it kind of gets you to the right number. This is nice. Bonneville Bobber. This one is $16,000. That's nice. I'm not sure what the bobber is, but it sounds good. Have a look at the bikes again. When you go to the wide shot and have a look at just rows upon rows of them, it's pretty amazing. The Triumph Speed Twin, $16,000. They don't have much more information about the size of the engine on them. Wow. It's just, when you walk in, I think you either just can't stop talking about it like I'm doing, or you're lost for words. It's one or the other, I think. Harley-Davidson Road King. This is 1999 model. This one is $7,000. I think if anybody wants to buy one of these, let me know, and maybe I can ship it to you somehow. Perhaps where you live they don't have these models. An Electroglide Harley-Davidson. This one is $7,000. I think these sound cheap in my head. Now, correct me if I'm wrong or not. This is a CVO Road Glide. This is $33,000. Is this perhaps the most expensive one I've seen today. That's a big bike as well. Wow. Some more Indian bikes here. A little bit of a mix. Hondas. There's all sorts of models mixed together. The lighting right by the shop is a little bit awkward. The one thing that's strange to me is I know the Harley-Davidson brand and just that real traditional look to them. And then there's these newer models. This is a Pan America. This is a pretty tall bike as well. This one is $15,000. And it's just interesting to look at them and see how much more modern they are than some of the classic chrome models. There's quite a few of these Pan Americas all together. Pan America Special. Doesn't really say what makes it special, but looks pretty impressive. This is $17,000. So yeah, it's in your mind you're thinking of that chrome shiny Harley-Davidson, and then there's these newer models that just look perhaps almost like some of the other models right here in the dealership. Inside the shop where we first walked, there was a few Harley-Davidson. I've come back to look at them. This one here is a Street Glide Special, brand new model. This one's $33,000. It's a nice looking bike. It's got the aerial on the back again, and they just remind me of those classic American TV show bikes. I don't know what they need to pick up with antennas nowadays. Perhaps CB radios or something like that. It's actually 3 of these City Glide bikes all together here. And then, what's this one? This is a BMW GS Adventure. Brand new model. This one, $27,000. Very nice bike. It's a mix of that kind of modern and off-road bike at the same time. I was thinking this one in the corner here was a Harley, but it's a BMW. This is a big bike, 1800cc. This is a Transcontinental R18. This one's $27,000. This is a big bike. I mean, how fast would that go? I'd be scared to think. Then we have a couple of Harleys here. Street Glides. And then we're back in the shop. As I walk past some of the Harley-Davidsons, I think I've definitely answered the question, can I buy a Harley-Davidson here in Russia in 2023? I absolutely can. Can I buy a current 2023 edition bike? I also can. There was a couple of them literally just behind me, and there's a few 2022 models, quite a lot of them actually. I'm not sure how it works like with cars, if it's the same with bikes, how they have the next year's models and the previous year's models, and then they sell through them before they get the next one. But definitely I can buy a Harley here in Moscow, or more than likely anywhere in Russia. I'm fairly sure this place ships, as it's so well known in America. Although there's no ships in Russia, it would come by train or by truck if you were to have it sent to another city. I really hope this is an interesting video. I've enjoyed walking around and just seeing the amount of bikes here. As one of the bikes rides off into the distance, perhaps it's found its new owner, or the guy that works here wants to go for a spin. More than likely it's sold and it's getting moved on. It's just how they get the model out from the back corner to the front. It's interesting just to see them moving them around in the store here. There's a lot of BMWs, by the way. Well, there's a lot of every model as I walk around. If you are a bike fan somewhere in the world, let me know maybe what model that you ride or what brand of bike. Is there a shop where you live that has this many bikes in one place? It would be super interesting to know. if this might be a small dealership. Who knows? I promised I'd come for a brief walk around upstairs, and there's actually more bikes and more from the same HotMot place that I came specifically to see. And then there is actually another dealership over there, and Gladiator, and then there's an Arena store. If anybody knows Arena, they're a very famous brand of swimming clothing, or the brand that's the competition to Speedo. It's just so random that this store's in this particular shopping center with never-ending motorbikes, and then come in and buy a swimsuit. Earlier today, someone actually mentioned that I need to come and look for the scooters that the delivery drivers use in Moscow, and these are pretty close to the model. They're actually powder coated in all black. It's maybe not exactly the one, but these are all electric bikes and electric scooters. This is actually a smaller dealership on this upstairs level, and there's some pretty cool models here. There's no prices on them, so I can't really tell you which one is which. But how cool is this? Electric scooters. Perhaps the motorbike shop that I've shown in most of the video, this is where they store some of their other models. They've just got rooms upon rooms of them. And I think also perhaps a lot of the older models of bikes get put up here, and then they come to work on them and they fix them for resale. I'm not 100% sure. Most of the staff here don't speak English, but I think the best of my ability is what I can see and what they do here. And they've got another room with some of the older bikes. Perhaps just the owner loves bikes and he just keeps collecting them and just has that never-ending collection of bikes that aren't for sale. There's a lot with different tags and stickers on them, so there's obviously a reason behind that for a lot of the models on this upstairs level. Someone's really going to have to let me know about these Harley-Davidsons now, because I'm curious, after seeing the Made in Thailand logo on a lot of them, I'm curious if that's where they're made, perhaps for a certain region of the world, and maybe some are made in other countries. Please let me know in the comments what information you know about manufacturing of Harley-Davidsons. As I make my way back downstairs to the main bike dealer that we've done most of the video on, it's just interesting to see those shops on the upstairs level. I noticed the Arena sign outside when I came in, and then to actually see the store and the fact that you can buy swimwear in this particular shopping center is quite interesting. I want to thank everybody for watching the video today, especially if you got to the end. Is there a certain model of bike that you like? Let me know in the comments any of your thoughts, or maybe some of the pricing that I pointed out to you. I really didn't want to make this about the price of bikes comparable to where you live, but it might be relevant for you. Also, you know, the fact that it's very quiet on this workday afternoon here in Moscow. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. That's the best way that you can support the video. Perhaps share it with a friend. Maybe you're not as interested in this, but you're here to watch me on the channel. Maybe a friend might want to check this out and compare some of the bikes that I've shown. If you want to follow me on Telegram, the link will come up right now. You can click that. And if you want to see an older video on the channel, I'll show you one of the car dealership videos. Maybe you want to check one of those out, and yeah, that'll come up right now. You can check that out after this. Okay, everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye for now.